Hi, and welcome everybody to this afternoon's webinar, or morning for that matter, depending on where you are in the world. I'm Fredrik Kastenholm, and with me here today, I have Viktor and Tristan from Link Mobility. They will, of course, get the opportunity to present themselves in just a bit. How about we start with you, Tristan? Would you like to present yourself and Link Mobility?
Yes, of course. And I'll start with saying good morning. Even though I'm Swedish, I just arrived to Houston, Texas last night. So I'm having my first cup of coffee. Bear with me. In 20 minutes, I might ramp up, but I'm going to do my best in the meantime. Okay. So yes, my name is Tristan. I'm working here at Link Mobility since a few years, together with Viktor. And to give a brief introduction of what we do, so we provide solutions for communication needs in general. That could be mobile messaging services, SMS, as we're going to talk about today. Could also be WhatsApp, RCS, different channels. Also, marketing automation platform, omnichannel, chatbot platform, you get the idea. Different kinds of communication needs. And we work actively with partners such as Omnitas. So that's brief.
And you, Viktor?
Yeah, I think Tristan covered most of who we at Link Mobility are, at least. My name is Viktor, as mentioned, and I've been in Link for the past 6.5 years or so. And just as Tristan mentioned, the core business that we do is basically communication solutions focusing on the mobile phone. So whatever you can think of, which includes any type of communication towards a mobile phone, Link Mobility is the people to talk to, basically.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that brief introduction. And for all of those of you who don't know me, I did manage to see that there were quite a few of you who are return guests, so that's always lovely to see. But I'm Fredrik Kastenholm. I'm the CRO of Omnitas Consulting. We are a digital management consulting firm. So basically, we help other companies to effectivize and enhance their workflows and work processes and implement and integrate systems into their system floor, such as maybe Link Mobility. And we are also the world's biggest Monday.com partner. So, guys, we are supposed to talk a bit about SMS more specifically today, but even though you have a lot of interesting stuff going on at Link Mobility. But what do you see right now from the SMS channel or text messaging channel? My view is it maybe a slightly forgotten channel at times in the B2B segment, at least. What's your view?
Well, I think you are in some way correct when you say it's a channel that maybe has been a bit forgotten, especially in the B2B sector, where companies doesn't use it as much as they probably could. I think it's just a matter of exploring the features and functionalities, or maybe more about the actual use cases where SMS could fit in, because I definitely believe that it's quite a few of them. Even though you are a B2B company, SMS could still be a really good channel for you to use in numerous different ways.
Any ideas of what those use cases might be? I know I have a few ideas, but
I mean, it could be, for example, if you need someone to respond to a project roadmap, or you need someone to close a time report, or whatever it can be. SMS could definitely be a good channel to communicate like internally. But also, if you work in sales, for example, if you want someone to reach back, get back to you, I think SMS is absolutely a channel to be used for follow-ups and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and me being very much in sales, so are you, I know, Tristan. So that when you kind of chase down a prospect for a bit, I know I've at least had some success with actually just reaching for the phone and just going, let's text message this.
For sure.
This guy, right?
Definitely. I would say my comment to this, Fredrik, I mean, of course, it depends on the platform and the context and everything. But if we think about Monday.com for a moment, I mean, I would advise you to simply reevaluate all your current workflows. What are you doing in your current workflows? Which channels are you using? And everywhere where you're sending an email or another type of, it could be a Slack message, it could be any type of message in whatever channel. Could SMS be a better solution there? Do you have a problem with the opening rate? There could be like that. Also, the opening speed, for example, is not only about opening the SMS, but doing it timely in 10 minutes, 30 minutes time. The click-through rate, the conversion rate. Look at all your existing workflows. What channels are you using? Could SMS, switch out the current one or be a complement? I would start there at least. And there are endless of use cases.
It's quite interesting, some of the things you mention here. And I myself, I of course don't have all the data, but my feeling is that open rate should be much higher on the SMS channel compared to email, for example, and also timeliness. I know me, for example, I do my main email checking in the beginning of the day and then again at the end of the day. Some jump-ins in between, but I try to structure it that way because I have a lot of meetings, right? And I try to be courteous enough, not checking emails while I have a meeting, right? But I mean, if someone text message me, then it's like, oh, checking my phone, right?
Exactly. There's another timeliness to it, for sure. People check their SMS throughout the day. Our statistics show that, I don't have an exact number, but let's say 95% open it within 15 minutes or something like that. So you're actually able to reach the person throughout the day, not just in the beginning or the end, like you said. And that can be crucial for all kinds of activities, for internal, for sales, for marketing. So definitely, I agree with you.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, if you just take yourself as an example, I mean, let's all look at the phone. If you compare the apps, the messaging, I mean, the SMS app on the phone and also the email app, I guess it's more likely that you have 50 unread emails. But if you look at the SMS app on your phone, I would believe that the majority of you guys have zero unread SMS messages.
Definitely. I just actually checked my own right now and was like, yeah, it's zero.
Yeah, and I mean that goes. It's just like Tristan mentioned. I mean, it's a channel where you reach pretty much everyone around the world. The only thing that the person needs is a phone, which basically everyone has these days. You don't even need a proper internet connection or whatever it can be. So it's a channel to be used everywhere for all people and with a lot of different kinds of content, basically.
I have, when I've had discussions with my clients, for example, sometimes some say, oh, it feels like you're entering into a more personal space when you're doing text messaging. I have, however, since I am one of those who actually do that myself with prospects and clients, right? I've never gotten it from a client because I've done something like that or I've sent something to them. But what's your take on that? Is that some kind of an old thing? Has that changed? Has it actually never been the case? What's your kind of take on that?
I mean, it's a little bit depending on the context and what kind of message you are actually sending.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, for sure. I mean, when I started working in this industry 6-7 years ago, it was more common that you got that kind of feedback, both from consumers overall, but also customers and businesses. But it was actually a long time since I heard anyone say that now. So I guess that has faded away a little bit. But then, I mean, there's always, a difference between a marketing message connected to a sale or whatever. Then it probably feels a little bit more intrusive to people, but everyone has always the option to opt out from these messages if they want to. But then if you compare it to like a reminder of a dentist appointment, then no one thinks that's intrusive or annoying in any way. So it's a little bit depending on the use case, but
I want to add as well.
But I also think you're quite right in saying it's depending on what you actually communicate, right? So take it from a sales perspective. If you go like, hey, buy my product, then it might be quite intrusive or very in your face, right? But if you actually do what a proper salesperson should do and ask the questions instead and do the job for real.
Yeah, and that's also connected to I think a topic which we are going to touch a little bit on later, connected to the data you have on the recipient of the message. Because if you make sure that the content, even if it's connected to marketing or sales or whatever it can be, as long as the content is personalized towards you as the recipient, then it's probably it gets accepted in a better way.
Yeah. May I add something there, Fredrik? May I add something about this discussion? Perfect. No, I was thinking, as long as you have the consent, of course, and as long as you have the opportunity for the receiver to opt out, then that indirectly means they are somehow at least willing to receive the communication, right? They gave the consent, they haven't opted out yet. So you shouldn't feel worried that they don't want your message. I think that's the first thing. The second thing is, personalization is key. Of course, for internal communication, it's different. But if we're talking marketing SMS, I think a week ago, I received an SMS from a jeans company, or not even a jeans company, but like a retail store about jeans. But I'm not even a fan of jeans myself. I never bought jeans at this store. And it was like women's jeans, So double wrong. Neither jeans or women. So if you're gonna send marketing SMS, you definitely need to make sure that you have the data, you're personalizing it, you're not like sending it randomly to everyone. And if you do it this way, it's actually going to be appreciated because they have the consent, they have they are opted in, they are receiving marketing SMS about things they are genuinely interested in. Then it can be a value-added thing to do for your customers. So I definitely see it in a positive light if it's implemented in the right way, which is why we have Omnitas with us, of course.
Thank you for that plug. I totally agree with you, even though I think you might actually be looking nice in a pair of skinny jeans.
Thank you. Let's go and try sometime.
Yeah. But when we're now talking about the personal stuff and that, me as a consultant, then one question, of course, comes to mind rather quickly. That's GDPR and data security, and that's actually why we kind of like you, because you're based here in Europe. So, but what are your thoughts on this one, and how do you link mobility, make sure that you keep up to date with everything?
Yeah. Viktor, should I start saying something short and you can
yeah, sure. I mean, the most important thing basically I can add to this is that, as Fredrik mentioned, it's a question to consider and keep in mind. It's super important. And I mean, the suppliers that you use, the closer you have them, to your local market where you operate, the more likely it is for them to be compliant in every way, even if it's GDPR or other types of security things.
Yeah, if we're going to get a bit more concrete about the potential issues or challenges, I think, of choosing a non-European provider, well, at Link Mobility, I won't go into the details about our compliance and our privacy policy and all that. Happy to go into that in a meeting later on, anyone watching. But to keep it clear, I mean, we are a European provider. We have European servers, and that's very important.
One.
Yeah, that's step one, and that's important. And why is it important then? Well, if you're handling processing personal data, which you are in this case, if you're sending SMS outside of the EU, you might need to do a DPIA, right? And this can be a bit complicated. And if you're not, of course, keeping up to date on this, following these regulations, there are risks associated with that. The fines, everyone knows about the GDPR fines, the 2% of the turnover or
4%
whatever.
4% actually.
4% even, right? For the more severe, breaches. So
4% or 20 million euros, whichever is highest, is that one you actually opt in for. So
thanks for clarifying. And as we understand, this is serious, but I think most people don't realize this, that you're processing personal data, you're sending it outside of the EU to the US, you probably need a DPIA. And if you're not doing that, there are risks, of course. I think that's the main point. There are other points too, but that's the main one. Do you agree, Fredrik, or you want to add something?
Yeah, I would say, to make it really, really easy for yourself, and I say, actually, whenever, according to the European legislation, whenever you get a new software or new provider, anything, you should always make a risk assessment. But the nice thing with having someone like you that's in Europe, it's going to be like, no, or yes. It's done. And then basically do it in 2 minutes, forget it, and have it ready when the authorities come knocking and asking if you did what you should. That things become very simple. Whereas if you are a European, you handle your customers and you have an American provider, for example, because now you are actually in the main rule says you can't do this except for and now you need to clarify why you are in the exception area. So it actually becomes and also, I know we actually have a lot of Americans listening in here. This goes for American companies as well. So if you handle European client data, this the EU's long arm is very long in this case. So it's a good thing to have in mind. But I was actually planning to have this question for you for later, but I think it kind of fits so good. But before that, guys, all of you who are listening, there is a question section up to the right. Please use that to ask any and all questions, and we'll try to answer them as well. So please feel free to join in here in the discussions. But my question first. So what data do you think is important for anyone to do SMS channel communications good? What type of data is actually important that we track, that we collect? Of course, name and phone number is fairly important. Otherwise, you're going to have a hard time. But anything else?
I mean, in general, there is one of these new sayings that the data that you collect is the new gold out there, and I totally agree, because as you know, the more data that you collect and have the proper tools to use it, you will probably be a bit ahead of the competition out there. But in terms of specific kind of data, it could be anything basically. It comes down really to the use case, but the more data you have, the more proper segmentation and personalization and so on you can do, which also makes it easier probably to create even more use cases, because you have all the data. But it could be, for example, like interests or geographic data, where you live, if you have some favorite kind of store where you always visit, or it could be anything. It always depends on the industry and use case and all that. So
time data. When do people actually read SMS? Is it a good idea to send it at 2 a.m. in the morning, for example?
Yeah. That's also good data. But then that goes more into like statistics, I would say. Yeah. But yeah, for sure, that kind of thing is also super important to analyze the outcome of the messages that you send. And I mean, that's basically for any channel you use, you definitely want to You definitely want to analyze the data and make sure you optimize the use of the channel, even though if it's SMS, email, WhatsApp, whatever.
Yeah, totally agree with Viktor. All the things
from that, I would say just try to get as much data as possible.
Yeah, I think that's the big picture. Get all the data. Well, kind of. Get as much data as you can use. And from a more practical standpoint, again, I would advise sit down with Fredrik or one of his colleagues, look at the current workflows. How can we improve these workflows by somehow getting more data into it?
And I mean, it's also a matter of what kind of goals or maybe even problems you are facing today as a company. Is it that you want to save more time, you want to make more money, you want to get a better customer experience, or whatever kind of goal or problem that you are facing? It could definitely be different kind of data that you would need or use in order to make those things happen.
Yeah, and actually, thanks as well there, Tristan, for putting in. Also, I would actually say entering into a new channel is never easy, right? And it takes some thought on how to do it, and it should also be a natural part of the process, and preferably even an automated part of your process, right? At least if you want to do it at scale, right? And that's also, of course, I'm biased here, but me and Omnitas, we are some of those guys who can actually help with that. So everyone feel free to reach out to us if this is interesting, or either go via Tristan or Viktor and Link Mobility and come to us that way, or come directly to us and we'll help everyone and knit it together and see what we can do. But I guess most of your customers today, they use integrated systems, or how does it work?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, sometimes our customers might be using Monday.com, and of course that happens. But are you asking me about which kind of systems our customers are using in general?
No, basically, are they using it kind of like? Basically, I'm just verifying here. No one is kind of using it standalone as like a IP version of a phone, right? And just typing away, right? It's
it's not the best practice, right? It's not the best practice. I mean, of course, we have these flash sales. You're sending bulk SMS, and you can, of course, segment that, and then you're typing everything by hand. But I think what we're talking about, yes, you should have an integrated solution. Yes.
Yeah, and basically fetch the personalization data from your CRM system, for example, and have a go at that.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And also, as I mentioned before, like a topic like time saving. If you work properly with a channel like SMS and use the APIs that is available, and the expertise and knowledge from both from Link Mobility, but also from a technical point of view from Omnitas, I mean, then you can probably save a lot of time in order to create automated flows for whenever a message should be sent and received and so on. So I guess that's the best way to do it, to create a fully integrated solution where you pretty much tailor it for the specific needs that you have as a business, and that your recipients, even if it's internally or externally, might need.
I almost forgot what I was going to say there, but how do you see that the channel evolves for future purposes? Is SMS, it's been with us for a long time, right? It's not like the new kid on the block, rather it's the geriatric, right? How do you see it having a place in the future?
Okay, Viktor, let me start quickly. I mean, like you said, Fredrik, it's been around for a long time, right? Yeah. It's a proven channel. It works. But there's not that much development going on in the SMS specifically. But we have, I'm going to talk a little bit about SMS, and then I also want to mention briefly RCS. I don't know if everybody here has heard about RCS, Rich Communication Services. It's SMS 2.0. We have pictures and videos directly in the inbox. So, of course, at Link Mobility, we are providing all the channels, SMS, RCS, WhatsApp. I think that might be interesting to your clients as well in the future. But if we're looking at SMS, it's still going to be a very powerful channel in the future for all of the reasons we mentioned: the simplicity, the timeliness. You get the text, you can have a link, you can have everything you need to convey your message. The difference for the future, of course, we're going to have AI that's going to increase the segmentation, the personalization, going to help with all of that. We're also going to see, in the past, maybe SMS was used more for one-way communication, but you can also do it in a two-way communication, even conversational. You can deploy a chatbot and use SMS as your primary channel, so you can go back and forth. That could be, for all of the use cases, for internal use, for your colleagues, you can chat back and forth. For marketing. So we're going to see SMS as a part of our broader strategy become more conversational, I would say. That's one thing.
I think this kind of speaks to the pure technical. It's already mature, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We know what it does. It's like walking. We know how it works, right? We've done it for a couple of 100,000 years. So now it's actually more in how can we be smart and connected with newer technologies, really. But as you say, the channel is there. We know it works. We know it has one of the highest both open and response rates possible today. And then, of course, we also have the RCS, RSA. Which one is it? RCS. Thank you. Sorry, for me, that's not as intuitive as you. It's like better SMS in my words. Sorry about that.
But another thing to add to that is that, of course, as you both mentioned, SMS has been around for forever. It feels like more or less, but it's a proven channel. It's a proven technical setup in terms of the actual deliverance of the delivery of the messages. But then again, as I mentioned in the beginning, another key feature is that you don't need anything other than a phone number and a mobile phone to be able to receive an SMS. You need, if you compare it to WhatsApp, for example, then you need to download a specific app and you need to configure that and so on. So that's also another thing which makes SMS a really good channel, and it's also available and connected towards telecom providers all over the world, which makes it really easy to get going, basically.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Sorry, Fredrik, that's such a good point. The technical simplicity of SMS also means it's much more easy to implement and to use. There's less, things that can go wrong. So actually that is also a benefit of SMS, that it's so easy and simple.
Definitely. More complex is not always better, right?
No.
It's just more complex at the end of the day. And also talking about that, but of course you at Link Mobility, you can support more or less global SMS reach, right? Or communication reach.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even though, as mentioned, we're a European company with a good presence in a lot of European countries, we still have a global reach with the service that we provide, which means that we are connected technically in all markets all around the world.
Yeah. So, for example, if I'm an American company, it's still going to work just as well. Working with Link Mobility, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
added bonus, you actually have a heightened security perspective on your information, going back to what we talked about before. I just want to end on a few things, and this is as much of a comment from my side as it is a question, so please fill in. But one of the reasons I do like you guys at Link Mobility is that I feel that you're kind of like a bespoke kind of or more bespoke at least type of supplier in this case. So it means that you're not just the go into a website, buy the solution, and there you go. And there's actually something more to it, and you also have you have local branches, so you're actually there out in the market. There's actually someone to talk to, which is something I feel is a really, really good thing. Don't know if you want to add something to that.
I'm happy to add. Should I start, Viktor? Okay, let me start.
Go ahead.
I mean, thank you for bringing up this topic, Fredrik. I think it's an important one. We talked just briefly about our reach and so on, and that's true. We have a global reach, but we also have a local presence. I think we have offices in roughly 30 countries, which is very unusual for our industry, where most companies are based in one country and going from there. So that means if you're looking to get into the Swedish, Spanish, Greek, or of course in the US, we have local support, local people who know the markets, the regulations. You can get help from us. And like I said, we're not just delivering the keys to our API or to our platform. We are there for you. We are happy to help you, especially when it's powered by a partnership such as yours with Omnitas. We can really give, I think, a complete solution for the communication needs. We have an ongoing dialogue together with Omnitas. We have the customer, we have Omnitas, we have Link Mobility, we have our SaaS products and our APIs, and we can really give a complete and customizable solution with the local support. And I think this is something that you will not perhaps find somewhere else. It's something I'm proud of and happy of.
Yeah, you should be. You should be. Guys, I just watched the time and we're coming up at that magic minute. So thank you so much for joining me here today and having this great discussion. It's a discussion I come back to every now and again with my own sales team and in our own office. Like, why aren't we using this channel more? And how can we do this from that perspective? And also with my marketing team, why aren't we using text more? So it's really good to have you guys here who, of course, work with it every day. And to all of you out there listening, either now here live or later on YouTube, because we are posting this on YouTube as well, please remember to also go in and subscribe to Link Mobility's newsletter. You can find it on their website, linkmobility.com, and same with us at Omnitas. So make sure you also subscribe to our newsletters. Of course, Link Mobility, more about that communication piece, are very relevant for what we're talking about here today. Omnitas, we're talking everything about workflows and processes, everything from project management to CRM and HR systems. So basically how you get more effective going about your work, basically, and connecting your company as well. Stop working in silos, please, everyone. So with that, thank you so much, everyone, for joining me here today, together with Viktor and Tristan. And until next time, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Fredrik.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.